In this section on insertion and movement, we're going to try to draw a tree for what will there be for dinner. But how are we even supposed to start a tree for this question? Because we haven't done questions before. So I propose we're going to start with the basic declarative sentence, and we're going to learn how to transform it into a question. And that's what this whole section is going to be about. So we'll start with the basic declarative. There will be something for dinner. We're asking what will there be for dinner, so we don't know what the predicate nominal is going to be here. Um, so that's going to have to be like what at some point. And then there, we don't really know the category of there here. We know the adverb there, as in dinner will be there, but we don't know what there will be dinner is. So let's start with expletive there. So expletives just have grammatical function, like an existential or the existence of something, but they don't actually have meaning. So this isn't a location. This is just the existence. So if we say there is a convocation every June and October, or there are two cowboys firing guns in the air, this is just the existence. So we're saying there exists a convocation every June and October. There exists two cowboys firing guns in the air. And what you'll notice specifically about these is that the form of the be verb, whether it's singular or plural, depends on the head noun following it, not the subject before. So there's some evidence here that the cowboys were actually the original subject. And we can see this in the arrangement of existential there sentences. So if we have a few robbers are in the bank, so we have any sort of prepositional phrase, predicate adverbial, or adverb phrase, predicate adverbial, then we can do some arrangement. We can take the old subject and turn it into a predicate nominal for the be verb, and we can let the prepositional phrase remain an adverbial, and we introduce a new expletive subject, which is there. So this is how we would label expletive there. So this is what it would look like in a tree. There is a snake in my boot. So it's an NP subject, and it's an expletive there being hosted underneath. And that's how we do that. Nothing too special. This is just existential there. The second expletive we have is expletive it, and it has no meaning. It's often in weather sentences and in clef sentences. So it's hailing outside, or it's raining, or it is sunny. What is it? We're not talking about it being a thing. We're just saying that this event is happening. The event of hailing outside is occurring. In the case of clef sentences, these are sentences where it's like, it is blank who will do blank, or it is blank that will do blank. So it is remarkable that he actually came. It is Candy who will do all the work. So these are more it's. Again, it's not talking about a physical object. It's just saying the event that Candy will do all the work will occur. The event of being remarkable that he actually came occurred. So if we compare it with the regular pronoun it, I finished reading the book and gave it to him. It's very obvious what it is. We can assign it a physical object in the real world, which would be a book. So here's some practice with word categories. Let's see if we can distinguish between all these different types of its and theirs. So pause the video, try it yourself, and I'll go over the answer. So there is ice on the ground. So we could say ice is on the ground. There is ice on the ground is introducing existence. So this is an expletive. Now, if we say they have a lot of ice there, this is now talking about a location. So this is an adverb. There, they have a lot of ice. We can move it around. In the first sentence, we can't. Is ice on the ground there? That's not a sentence. That's a question. Okay, there is an easy way to determine the internal temperature. We see another expletive there. An easy way to determine the internal temperature exists. Okay, there are 40 clowns in the car. We see another expletive here. 40 clowns are in the car, so there's an existential. He looked at their car. So this is your possessive determiner because it is describing whose noun it is. Turns out they're all really in the car. So this is they are. So this is a personal pronoun plus they are in the car. So this is a be verb. Okay, your bike is nice. I saw it in the yard. So this is talking about the bike. This is a personal pronoun. I bought this table, but its leg is broken. So once again here, whose leg is it? Its leg. So this is going to be a possessive determiner. Okay, it is going to be a long, cold winter. It is raining. It is going to be a long, cold winter. What is it? It's just talking about an event occurring. So this is an expletive. Who's calling? Oh, it is his mom. Oh, it's his mom. So another type of expletive here. It is not referring to a thing, although I should say there is an interpretation where it is an object and it's interpreted as an object. If so, it can be a personal pronoun, but that's not the interpretation most people would get. So it is sunny and windy today. Here's a weather sentence. That's an expletive. And it was the setting sun that made it hard to see the ball. This is a cleft sentence. So we also see an expletive here. So we see it was something that something. So hopefully you're able to distinguish between all these different things and not fall into little tricky traps. So our structure for the sentence, what will there be for dinner, so far looks like this. There will be something for dinner. We don't know what that something is, but now we know that this there is labeled as an expletive. So the next thing to talk about is just negation, because this is going to be important for question movement. And we have a strict rule about negation we haven't talked about yet, and that is that negation phrases cannot be predicates on their own. This means we can say something like we listen to EDM very often. We do not listen to EDM very often as an aux phrase, but we cannot start the predicate with a negation. That does not work. So we not listen to EDM very often is ungrammatical. So what we do is we do this thing called do-support. So we insert an auxiliary do in order to take any sort of tense that the verb would have and make the sentence grammatical. Because when we say we not listen to EDM, tense has to go on the first thing in the auxiliary phrase. Whatever that auxiliary phrase is, a progressive phrase, a perfect phrase, or whatever. But we don't have anywhere for tense to go because not is the first thing, and not a negation doesn't take tense. So this is what the ungrammatical example looks like. We not listen to EDM. And the issue here is that negation is taking the predicate function. That is not okay. We're not allowed to do that. So if we want to fix it, we need to add an auxiliary phrase with do, and that's okay. So this is what is needed to repair the negation. Now, this is just to make a grammatical sentence from we not listen to EDM. If you want that exact meaning, you insert do. But if you want a perfect or progressive meaning, you could insert something else. So we are not listening to EDM. We have not listened to EDM, but those have different meanings. This is just a simple negation. So we'll talk about negated imperatives next time, but that's basically it for what you need to know about the negation phrase and how we can make those negative sentences grammatical when we don't have any auxiliary elements. Okay, let's show you negative imperatives, and we'll show you even just imperatives in the first place because there's some interesting things about them. And that is that imperatives follow the same rules when it comes to making a negative imperative. We can say leave me alone, we can say do not leave me alone or don't leave me alone, but we cannot say not leave me alone. That's not okay. So in an imperative, this is really what we have here. Don't leave me alone. It's an auxiliary phrase imperative. It starts with do, it has the negation phrase nt, and then leave me alone would be just as you expect. Now, some little behind the scenes theory here is that actually with imperatives, we have this hidden subject you out front. Because you can say don't leave yourself. That's okay. But you can't say don't leave myself. Don't leave theirselves. Don't leave himself. But don't leave yourself is okay. So that suggests that actually all imperatives have a hidden you out front. So does an imperative have tense? No, it doesn't have tense. It just has the bare form of the verb for do, but we can still say there's a hidden subject. So just kind of cool thing going on behind the scenes here with imperatives in general.